Greg here, going to try to get a quick video done about composting toilets, or what's called composting toilets today. They aren't really. I have here a C head that's just been purchased, and a lot of people like to see the thing cut open. I got another camera here, and people like to see it unpacked. This is what's in it. Please read carefully. A lot of good packing here, it looks like. A hose, which can be used for ventilation if you need it. You might not need it with this. Could be in that step van in the background. A couple pieces of foam. Here's the main unit here. Recycle Home Depot box. Look at that. Utilizing composting toilets. All right, let's get rid of this knife. And see if we can pull it out of here. It's not attached some other way. Let's tip the box over. Composting toilets aren't composting toilets anymore. I go back a good 40 years with composting toilets. Back to the days of even Clivus Multrum, and had a Sunmar. But and a Sunmar, the type I had, was actually composting. The ones today don't really compost the matter, shall we say. All right, this is going to take some work here to cut this open, and we'll show you what it's like inside. I got to be careful not to cut the finish of the toilet. So we're going to go backwards, so there's no way I can accidentally cut it. Composting toilets today are basically just holding tanks. You got, this one's a C head, you got the Nature's head, you got, I don't know, egg head, what are the other ones? A bunch of heads. And those are the most popular ones today. But they aren't composting toilets, they're just holding tanks. As is this one. I'm not saying this one is a composting toilet, because composting toilet, it really, you are composting the waste. This really doesn't. None of them do today. Well, I wouldn't say none of them. The popular ones today do not. Okay, here's what we got. Hopefully it's in the camera range. This is a temporary lid. The close. This doesn't have any weight to it right now. Got a little Velcro that holds the seat down. This is where you go. And if you haven't studied these at all, essentially there's two compartments. One it goes for urine in the front, and another one you aim and goes down here in the main composting bin. This opens up, and what you got here for the urine catching basin, it's a plastic jug, a milk jug, standard milk jug. And down here you got your 5-gallon bucket. That's really all this is. And to show you what it does inside, I've never owned this particular model, but I did a lot of study about it before. This is the handle to crank it. It looks like it might be a little difficult to get open. But anyway, there's a handle here. You can watch other videos on it. And inside, I don't know if it's going to be light enough to see. Let me see. There is a paddle that I'm turning right now by hand. This is where the crank goes, where my fingers are. And the paddle makes the wastes mix up. So basically it's an empty compartment. Other than that, it's got a bucket in it and a little plastic jug, which is easily removed, and it's got a view sight here, so you can see how much urine is in there. And back where I am out in the countryside, you just dump it on the ground somewhere. And as far as the composting part, it's very simple to dump out. You use peat moss in here. You put peat moss in here, you do your duty, put more peat moss on it, or mix it up. And then when you go to dump it, you just put a plastic bag over this thing and turn it upside down and take it to a little pit, or even you can. Then that's where the composting really begins. You see, it's not a composting toilet unless it actually composts. And the only time it really composts, only about 5% of the composting action is done in the toilet, because you have to empty this out depending on how much you use it, every week or two, basically. And the urine bottle you probably want to change every day or every 2 days at the most, because those will start to smell. The actual number 2 matter does not, but the urine actually will smell pretty bad pretty quickly. The real composting action is done off the toilet in a hole you've dug, mixed with the peat moss, and that's where the composting actually really gets complete, and it basically turns to dirt. So I thought you might want to see, and then this hole here, it corresponds with the hole in the crank. So after you use it, and then you close it up, put the crank in there, and you turn it, I think they say about 15-20 times. I'd have to look at the manual again. I did not read any of the manuals yet. So that's the Head composting toilet, which you really can't call composting toilets. None of them today, none of the popular ones today are like $1,000 and under. This unit is about, I believe it was $600, the basic model, but it's not a composting toilet. They call it that. I'm not picking on this one because the other ones, the most popular one being the Nature's Head, not a composting toilet. It does something similar, it churns up the waste, but it's not a composting toilet. The real composting action is done off-site. Just wanted to make that clear because a lot of people, even the companies, mistakenly call these composting toilets. Craig out.